Welcome and good morning. Thank you for joining me for the 9 a.m. report here at End Times Prophecy News. Well, it seems that Kim Jong-un wants to fire nukes at us, at the United States, if we do any aggression. But the problem is that he's been saying that for, I think, over 5 years now, that he's going to destroy the United States, all because before he was even born, before the man was even born, there was a war and there was a truce. And because of that truce, the war has never ended, according to him. It's imminent, folks. Look what North Korea just announced. North Korea just announced they will use nuclear weapons if they see any aggression from the U.S. Reuters reports tensions on the Korean Peninsula mounted this week as the White House said U.S. President Donald Trump has put North Korea clearly on notice that he will not tolerate certain actions, and China urged a peaceful resolution of the tension. Trump has diverted the Carl Vinson strike group to near the Korean Peninsula from a planned port call in Australia in a show of force aimed at deterring North Korea launching another missile. The group is expected to take up to 9 days to arrive, U.S. officials have said. On Tuesday, North Korea warned of a nuclear attack on the United States at any sign of American aggression. The North is technically at war with the United States and South Korea after the 1950-53 Korean War ended in a truce and not a peace treaty. The North regularly threatens to destroy both countries. They also threaten to destroy Japan and also South Korea. And China is the one that is really putting a lot of pressure on them. They say China says they will bomb North Korea's nuclear reactors and other installations. So something's big supposed to be happening today in North Korea. They are warning. Is a celebration of, I think, the father or grandfather that died. But the point here is that something big is supposed to happen today. So I'm not saying look forward to it, but there's probably going to be something happening. So anyway, moving on. Look how Trump convinced China to help with North Korea. President Trump offered China better trade deals if they help with North Korea. Wall Street Journal reports President Donald Trump said Wednesday he has offered President Xi Jinping more favorable trade terms for Beijing in exchange for help on confronting the threat of North Korea, raising the prospect of a new pact that does less than Mr. Trump would otherwise like to address the U.S. trade deficit with China. Mr. Trump, in a wide-ranging interview with the Wall Street Journal, said he told Mr. Xi when they met for the first time last week that his administration wouldn't accept a continued large trade deficit with China. He added that he told Mr. Xi, "But you want to make a great deal? Solve the problem in North Korea? That's worth having deficits, and that's worth having not as good a trade deal as I would normally be able to make." Next up, breaking news, Tomi Lahren comments on her position on abortion on mainstream media now. Yeah, now she's gone to the ABC News.
In doing research about you, it was hard to find other times in which you came out in such a clear way about, in your words, being pro-choice, pro-abortion.
But I want to stop you there, because I believe you can be anti-abortion and pro-choice, and that's where I sit. Personally, I would never have an abortion. Personally, I would never encourage anyone else to have an abortion. In fact, I've counseled friends against it. I don't believe in abortion. However, as someone that views limited government, I do believe that during the first trimester, that option should be there for women. And I stand behind that. Now, after the first trimester, that becomes a little bit more difficult for me, and I do believe that the government has a role when the baby is viable on its own. But during that first trimester, I think we need to approach these issues with, utmost compassion for young women that are going through an experience that luckily I've never had to go through.
I have a little more problem with killing the baby after the first trimester, but before the first trimester, I don't have a problem with that. And we must have compassion for the women more compassion for the women to kill the baby in the first trimester, but after that, we have more compassion for the baby to not kill the baby. How can you be pro-abortion, pro-life, to kill the baby, and anti-abortion? No, it's impossible. But the worst thing here, told me Lauren, is you made a terrible decision for your career and morally before God. I don't care what happened between you and the Blaze, or why you got fired there because of this reason. That has nothing to do with your decisions in your life. Only financially. That's not what's really important here. What's really important is what are you going to do before God when He asks you? How can you say that you can be for killing babies, innocent life? That's not your right. Only God has the right to do that. Obviously, you don't have any conviction before God on murdering. Okay? You seem to think it's partially a right. And actually, what you're actually saying is that when abortion first came out, this is what they said. You can have abortion the first trimester. So she's believing in the original abortion laws. That's right. Pretty sick. But the biggest problem again is that she's made a immoral decision. And for her career decision, she's made a very flip-floppy decision that's bad. Because most Christians are not going to support this. But what's even worse is she's going to get some Christians on the bandwagon to say it's okay for the first trimester because the beautiful Tommy Lauren, who I trust, she's got it all together, she's so beautiful, has persuaded me to believe that way. But God says, who is Jesus, is God, judge not according to appearance, but judge righteous judgment. Don't be swayed by the beautiful Tommy Lauren into making a bad decision in your life that you will regret. How can anyone say, I never talk anyone into abortion? I would never do it myself, but it's not the right for the government to make that decision? Let's see. Did the government force anyone to have an abortion? No. I don't know what you're talking about, Tommy. I'm sorry. That'll be all for this report. Thank you.
If my people, which are called by my name, shall humble themselves and pray and seek my face and turn from their wicked ways, then will I hear from heaven and will forgive their sin